Welcome to the Lumberjay Knights Guide for the Easter event 2021. Characters of any level can complete this event, and all items obtained during the course of the event. Greg, the Easter Bunny, even provides a few handy teleports. So, if you want to obtain the items modelled on screen, as well as the items from every other Easter event to date in Old School RuneScape, carry on watching this video. Enjoy! Welcome to another of Old School RuneScape's events. This time it is the 2021 Easter event, and here we are in Draenor Village. You can see the event marker has just appeared there outside of Ned's house, and you can speak to the Easter Bunny, also known in RuneScape as Greg, of course. What other name would you use for the Easter Bunny? So Greg is going to tell you that he is pretty much fed up with being regarded as the cute, traditional Easter Bunny, and he wants to create a new tradition called Easter Dooring. Don't ask me why he's cooked this idea up, but his idea is essentially to get people to decorate their doors instead of giving eggs and the traditional chocolate kind of Easter bunny things that regard him as cute and Eastery. In order to do this, his plan is essentially to paint the door. He's got an IOU for Aggie, because we're going to get some paint or a thick dye off Aggie. He's given us an IOU and some flowers for pigment. Once you finish the narrative, head straight over to Aggie. FYI, when you're in the narrative, there is generally only one option, so you can just keep pressing spacebar to get through the narrative quickly if you're not really wanting to read along. If you want to read along, it's all good fun, it's classic RuneScape humour, so, take part, enjoy. Anyhow, we're through to Aggie. Aggie's going to tell us that she can't really do paint, she shouldn't really do it. However, she does have a batch of, I suppose it's light blue, turquoise dye that has congealed and become quite thick, and it would do the job of paint. Swap the flowers and the IOU for the bottle of turquoise congealed dye. Once you've done this, head back to Greg and tell him you've got the bottle. He'll take it off you, and the two of you will then decide to ambush paint Ned's door. Ned's an easygoing guy, so he won't mind. Boom. Ned has got a nice bright blue door. The next thing the Easter Bunny decides is that the door is maybe not... painting it's not enough, You need to go the whole hog. It's not very Eastery just to paint something a bright colour. Therefore, we need to get decorations. The first thing we do is go to Lumbridge. He's going to offer you a free teleport. I recommend you do this, so off we go to Lumbridge. The other reason for taking these teleports is they teleport you closer to the destination than if you take standard teleports, and it's also a lot faster than walking. So here we are. When you get into the kitchen, speak to Greg, and again, that will initiate the narrative. Greg will ask if the cook has anything decorative that he's willing to give away. You may remember this chef as the classic chef from the Cook's Assistant quest. If you haven't done that, I'll pop a little link up on the screen. It's a very easy quest, very quick to do. So once you go through the narrative, you can see that he already handed over some beautifully decorated eggs, and Greg has taken them off you. When you finish that, he now wants some wool, so we're going to head to the sheep shearer field. This is generally the field used for the sheep shearer quest. Again, I'll pop another link up on the screen. Head to that field, and Greg will be stood slap bang in the middle. Speak to Greg, and eventually he will give us a pair of shears, and we will need to shear the grand total of 3 sheep. When we've sheared the 3 sheep, we can then click on Greg again, and he will immediately take the wool away from us, and we can progress with the event. In brief, Greg inquires what the thing is. Obviously, anyone who's played RuneScape long enough knows that there is a thing in that field, i.e. 2 penguins dressed up as a sheep. And he also then eventually will give you a pair of shears, because he will say that his hands, because he's got bunny hands, are unable to operate the shears, so you will have to do the honours for him, as I mentioned a few brief moments ago. Use the shears by clicking on them first and then clicking a sheep, or just simply click on the sheep if you're using the Rune-like client. Once you have the 3, as I said, give it to Greg. The next thing he's going to ask for is he wants some ribbons and some material style decorations. You recommend Thessalias in Varrock Centre. Again, he's going to offer us a teleport. I suggest you take it, and he's going to teleport us to the street directly opposite Thessalia's clothing. Go inside, again, click on Greg, and spacebar your way through the narrative. For a quick reference, this is where the shop is, in case you didn't know. All these locations are very central to the free-to-play area and are very easy to find, nothing complicated there. Click through the narrative. Thessalia is going to annoy Greg by calling him cute and stuff, but then he sees that she's got this hat with a propeller on it, and Greg falls in love with this hat and really wants it, so she gives him the hat, she gives him some ribbons, and she also gives him a big box of all the offcuts and scrap material from her shop. When we eventually get through this, Greg is going to have the idea to, instead of just decorating doors, why don't we actually build them from scratch and simply replace people's doors with the decorated ones? Easy enough. However, we now need some planks and nails, which we can obtain from the lumber mill northeast of Varrock. This is a members area, so we won't actually be able to go in, but don't worry because we don't need to, as Greg will go in for us, securing the nails and the wood. It's time once again for a little bit of Lumbridge trivia. So, this time related to this very event, did you know that if you use a raw or a cooked rabbit on Greg as an item, it will unlock some interesting dialogue options? So, give it a go and let me know what he says in the comments. Once you're done with the conversation with Thessalia and Greg, head northeast, out of the east gate of Varrock, and up to the lumber mill. Here it is, if you didn't know. Click on Greg again, and he will say that he's going to go in, get some planks, get some nails for us. Any second now, this will trigger a cutscene. Once again, you can just click spacebar, there's no options in the narrative, just keep clicking spacebar to get through it. Eventually, when the cutscene finally starts, you'll see Greg in the lumber mill, having a look around, and he sees a cat, and he's like, "Oh, hello cat, do you want a pet or anything? I don't have any treats." But the cat yowls at him and attacks him, so any second now you'll see Greg come running with his tail literally between his legs. Somehow during the course of that, although you never saw him pick it up, Greg did actually retrieve the wood and the nails needed. So we're now going to construct the doors, which we do in a matter of seconds. Boom, there we go, one quick black screen, and we've constructed the decorated doors. This now leaves us with the final task of fitting the newly decorated doors to the houses in the village of Draenor. Again, accept teleport from Greg, and here we go, boom, back where we started the quest. However, all the doors in the village are already decorated. How did this happen? Did Greg do it that quickly while we were gone? Well, as it turns out, several of the residents apparently took it upon themselves to decorate the village in our absence. Here's the wise old man to explain. And here's the brief cutscene. It initially starts with Ned. So Ned saw that his door was nice, bright and blue, but he thought it needed a little bit more decoration to make it Eastery. The old man saw that, decided he wanted his door doing, so the two of them went and did his door. Then Aggie saw the same thing, and so on and so forth. Basically, the whole of Draenor Village did this mad Easter jig and painted and decorated all their doors. So essentially, everything we did on this event was for nothing. This would be a surprise if this wasn't the outcome of nearly every RuneScape quest. At least for this one, we're going to get some crazy event rewards, as well as access to all of the previous Easter rewards, and that includes the emotes and anything else covered by past Easter events. Greg's actually over the moon because the wise old man referred to him as the strange rabbit instead of the cute little Easter bunny. He's not very little though, he's actually massive for a rabbit clearly, but anyway. When we eventually get to the end of this discussion, just a quick one, for anyone without the inventory space to hold all the items, you can collect them from Diango in the marketplace behind us. Boom, we get all of the items for this one, as well as all of the items for the previous Easter events. You can see there's quite a few, and there's plenty to play with. For now, I will equip the ones that we got for this event, which is literally a equipable large door and a helicopter cap. Amusingly, if you look at the stats for these, the door actually gives you a fantastic -100 stab, a -100 slash, and -50 crush, and -10 strength as well, just to add insult to injury. So it's a really useful item for fighting. Not. If you have enjoyed this video and it has been at all helpful, please like, subscribe, share and leave a comment. I, the Lumbridge Knight, am at your service. So, until the next time, fare thee well, brave adventurers.